Hello. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to import a GMOD or SFM workshop item into VRChat. Very simple process, but it's a bit long, so just pay attention and follow along. First, you want to look for the item, and I think it's worth noting that old models don't work. What I mean by this is if you try to download something that's very old, like from 2016, let's say, yeah, this was in 2016. If I try to put it here, it will give you something to download, but it just won't work. So to know if it'll work, you copy the link of the workshop item, you go to Steam Workshop Downloader, which we need, and then you'll see this dialog. So first, if it's your first time trying this, click on No, and then you have to download it. Everything that I use in the video will be in the description. Easy for you to download and easy to install. You just need a 7-zip or WinRAR to extract zip files. So in my case, I'm going to click on Yes. Click here to copy. Next, you want to open steamcmd.exe. Login anonymous. If you follow the tutorial on the website, it'll make you log into your Steam account, but that takes longer. And then after it says OK for these three, just paste the thing that you copied, then press enter. And then once it's done, like it says success, you can close out of Steam CMD. Go to Steam Apps, Workshop, Content, and you can see this is your item. Not sure what that was. I think I'm gonna put that back there. So you will see it's a GMA file. What we're gonna do here is make a new folder. Darkest Dungeon 2. Drag this here. Drag this to our downloads. And delete that, because we won't be needing it anymore. Now you want to open GW tool, which, as I said, is also in the description. Just drag it here, and you will see a new folder. You can go ahead and delete the GMA file. You can go ahead and delete these two as well. Next, open up the materials. Very sorry, I also forgot to mention that you need to download VTF Edit, which is also in the description. And then just open any of the VTF files. Click on Tools, Convert Folder, select that, click on Materials, OK, Destination folder, let's just make it DD2, and then make sure this is to png.vtf. Don't click on anything else, just click on Convert. Once the bar is done and it says exiting, you're able to close this. And this is the file. It'll be named models. What we can do here is make a new folder called textures, and then you're now able to drag these two textures into the textures folder. Let's also take the outline. Now you can delete that. Okay, this is the file that we downloaded from GMA, and you will see a lot of things. It might be a bit overwhelming, but we'll only be needing, in our case, two things from here. One is the model itself, and one is the axe, which is the weapon. Next, you want to open Blender 4.1 because we have source engine tools as well as MMD tools, which again, both are in the description of the video. So when you download the plugins, it'll be a zip file. Do not extract it. Go to Edit, Preferences, Install, select the zip file and then install add-on. Then you will see it show up here, but it's not checked. Just make sure it's checked. Next, you want to press A on your keyboard in the scene, and then press delete, and just make sure your scene is empty. File, import, source engine. Wait a minute, I'm very sorry. Before that, you want to make sure you have crowbar, which is also in the description. Now, just drag the MDL of your player model into the MDL input and copy this one, paste it here, and decompile. You can go ahead and make sure yours is similar to mine. Once it says decompiling finished, you can close out of this. And the only thing we want here is the QC file. So now we can import the QC file, which is this one, our model itself. It's gonna be huge, don't worry about that. We'll work on that later. Click on this arrow over here, MMD, convert model, okay. File, export, Miko dance model, or a .bmx file. And then just, you can name it if you want. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. Close out of this. Next, we need to open PMX editor. Again, it's in the description of the video, don't worry. Open the .exe. Not sure if the x64 is any different. File, import. Select the .bmx file that we just made, and make sure you select the new. Now you can see it's very big, so we're going to go to Edit, Plugin, System, Size Change Tool, and I'll just change the size to 0.3 and keep resizing until he's a bit smaller. Okay, click on this M over here, click on the R, and select the physics. If your model doesn't have it, it's fine. Press Shift Delete. Yes. Press the A button, close that. Now you want to go to Material, select the texture, make the diffuse white, specular black, ambient white. Click on the text file, open texture, go to your textures, click on the texture that's over here, click on yes. There will be some cases where even after updating the texture, it'll appear white in the viewer. It's completely fine, don't worry. Go to the outline, or whatever one you have. Select white for the diffuse, black for the specular, white for ambient, and then select the texture. So how do we know what texture we're choosing? You're able to see in the name, it should be the exact same name for the texture. Oops. Once you're done, File, Save As, and then just overwrite the original PMX that we made. So we're done with the hard part, kinda. Go to Blender 3.6, and we will be using cats to work on our model, which is also in the description of the video, and it's the same way as we installed the previous plugins for Blender. Now I know for cats, depending on what version you have, you don't have to select everything and delete. But we're gonna do it. Nah, never mind. It doesn't want to. So just import the model. Click on MMD options, fix MMD model. Now, if you did not get any warning messages, it means everything worked. Your model is completely fine to use for VRChat. Next, you can fix materials, other options, translate. If it's a humanoid, like an anime character or whatever, like it has mouths and eyes, you'd want to check the visemes just in case, and then make sure you match the visemes. So for example, viseme AA, you would want to look for AA, OH, and CH, and then click on create visemes. And if it has eyes, there's a chance it might also have eye bones. So you'd want to search for eyes, and then select left eye, right eye. Make sure head is also head, and then create eye tracking. And then once you create the eye tracking, there's a button that says test eye tracking. If you click on that, you can change the value of left or right to see if the eyes actually do move. So once we're done here, file, export FBX, and just go export it as is, don't save. You can close these. Okay, for the love of God, if you're gonna do this, please make sure you credit the original creator, because you know these people worked hard on their models and you're just doing this. Number one, make sure you credit them. And number two, if it says don't, use for your own like advertisement or whatever, just obey them, but yeah, always credit them. Credit the game, credit the person who actually did this, and you should be good. Now, you can go ahead and delete these. You'd only want the FBX and the textures. But in my case, I'm going to put the textures next to the FBX. I'm going to show you in a second. Drag the folder here. Open the folder, and you'd want to create 2 materials. How do we know how many materials we need to create? Click on the FBX, go to materials, and you'll see here. In our case, we only have 2. Make sure the rig is humanoid as well. What I just did was I made a duplicate. I pressed Ctrl D, so now we have 2 materials. For this one, I highly suggest renaming the materials after the texture so that it's a lot easier. An easier way to do it is to copy the name when you right click and rename on the texture. Then you want to rename and paste the material. Next, just drag the texture to the albedo. If it has a texture that looks pink and it has the letter N, drag it to normal. Then you can select the materials and then just select any shader you want. So not only is this a tutorial on how to import models from GMOD or Source Filmmaker, it's also how to make an avatar from scratch. Well, kinda, not really from scratch. Next, click on materials, drag the respective materials onto the slots, and click on apply. So this is optional. I use a height chart to tell me how tall my model is. So if we want him to be 6 foot, we just go up from there. And then we can delete the height chart and name the avatars FBX in the hierarchy. And then we add VRC avatar descriptor. Click on edit. Sometimes you won't be able to see it. Click on the gizmos and then drag this white sphere to where you want your viewpoint to be. I'm gonna put it right here and just return. One thing which I don't like about MMD models is this. Click on the FBX, rig, configure, and there's a high chance your fingers are broken. How to fix this? Click on the bone that seems to be broken. In most cases, it will only be the tips of the fingers. Click on the rotate, and then just rotate them until they seem normal. And then once you're done, scroll down on the right, click on apply, and then done. Make sure you also check the other hand. Before anything, in some cases the chest might be none, and when you try to build it, it'll say this avatar, oh sorry, like there was no chest, like it's missing a chest. You go to the configure, click on this dot over here, search chest, and then it should be good. You can do the same for every other bone, and just in case it doesn't select itself. And we're gonna fix the other hand as well. Now of course it won't look perfect, but if you're really good in 3D stuff, then you know, it's always up to how you fix it. The thing we can do is also check from the top. We're gonna leave as is. Now, click on done, and it should be good. That's pretty much how you make a model from GMOD or Source Filmmaker into VRChat. You can go ahead and auto-fix these, it's fine. You can name it whatever. It's up to you if you want to make it private or public. Choose a picture, and then build. It's as simple as that. But what we're going to look for are fizz bones for the cape, to see if it has any. And he does, surprisingly. Add component, VRC fizz bone. And if you want people to grab it, you can make it true. For allow posing, it's where if they grab it and then press trigger, that fizz bone will stay in the position of where they press the trigger. If you don't want them to do that, just make this false. And if you want grabbing to be true, just make sure the radius is realistically the same size or width as the object. So for example, if someone grabs in the range of this white area, that's what they're grabbing. But since we don't want people to grab our cape, I'm gonna make it off or false. And the collision doesn't really matter. You can just make it 0. Okay. That's pretty much it. Now you can build and upload your avatar. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. with your friends and families and loved ones. And yeah.